Yeah, I just realized it. You got everybody? Denise? Denise? Ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Pleasant Valley School District Board of Education meeting to order for March 26th. If you could please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if you could please stay standing for a brief moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Mr. Galler, would you lead us, please? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone that's with us this evening, and if we could please have roll call.
Norm Berger.
Here.
Robert Clark.
Here.
Janet Dooner.
Here.
John Kazitsky.
Here.
Denise Hopley.
Here.
Sue Kresge.
Present.
Ryan O'Keefe.
Present.
Diane Surface.
Present.
And Matthew Walters.
Here.
Thank you. I'd like to let everyone know that we did have an executive session. It was held today, March the 26th of 2026, immediately prior to the regularly scheduled meeting for purposes of personnel matters, including but not limited to performance and or discipline, negotiations, and legal issues. Ms. Gunzman's not with us this evening. Oh, okay, very good. We will move on then. Dr. Conrad, if you would do your presentation for us this evening.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. So I told myself I was going to keep it at 10 minutes, so I'm trying to keep myself honest here. We'll see how that works. But so I want to take an opportunity to revisit a presentation that actually is currently on the district website. And this is also a presentation that I had presented at the March Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. And so really what the emphasis was certainly around was looking at our district's future. And in order to look forward, sometimes we have to look backward. So I wanted to kind of take us through looking at, what our roadmap has been and where it currently is and where it's leading towards. So as you can see, the roadmap is rooted in transparency, collaboration, and growth. All right. I do have the clicker. Thank you. So I can go to the next one. Okay. Just want to read this to all of you. So my commitment to Pleasant Valley remains rooted in fostering a culture of transparency, collaboration, and growth. By working as a unified community, we're continuing to turn challenges into a foundation of success. And that's something I firmly believe in, something that we talk about with our administration team, something we talk about with our professional staff and our support staff, how we're continuously contributing to the greater good and how we're working together and solving problems and working through some of the challenges. Moving on, so the first part of the presentation, again, if you had a chance to view it, great. If not, it is posted on the website. But all in all, looking at a not-so-distant past, when I arrived at Pleasant Valley back in December of 2021, it became clear to me that we had about 6 major challenges. Those challenges included a financial crisis, navigating a $6 million deficit. We obviously had aging infrastructure, and also we had leadership inconsistencies. You can see behind you, there was a number of superintendents that were here in a very short span of time. In fact, I believe it was 4 superintendents in just 3 years. That creates a lot of inconsistency, and so that's something that we have to be very mindful of when we take the next steps. Moving on, some of the other things that we had to obviously overcome and really face the reality is a trust deficit, profound lack of communication. And that's something that, again, coming to Pleasant Valley and with my background, I wanted to make sure we had opportunities to be at the table, talk, work together, and make a difference. Additionally, compliance issues. We had non-compliance with certain trainings. We had outdated policies that haven't been touched for maybe 15, 20 years that actually maybe weren't up to date with some of the recent litigation. So we need to update those things. And then also contractual strain. So obviously 600 employees who do not have competitive contracts when I arrived, and I really commend our board and everyone working together because, we had to navigate through a lot of really challenging things. But I am happy to say that our staff have competitive contracts, regionally competitive, state competitive, and we're drawing a lot of people to Pleasant Valley. So you're seeing the growth all the time. It's exciting. Just a quick progress update. So, one of the things that we've obviously navigated through the past couple of years have brought us to fiscal stabilization and growth. As I said before, there was a $6 million deficit. And also some of the things that were also financially tied were, balancing school budgets. So we're achieving that through low annual tax increases, competitive multi-year contracts for all 600 employees. We transformed a $200,000 annual cafeteria fund loss into $600,000 annual profit. So again, thinking about what we currently have and how do we make refinements, and then how do we make improvements. And then also rebuilding the investing in our different programs, curriculum, school infrastructure. I want to go back because I think one of the hardest things I've ever faced in my entire career was the challenges that we faced in the spring of 2022, which was going through furloughs. But I want to make it crystal clear that every single person that was furloughed at that time in Pleasant Valley, but for one administrator, was asked to come back afterwards. In fact, it wasn't just the individuals who were furloughed that year. It was also individuals who were furloughed before then. So we went back probably to 2020 for individuals over a course of time that actually were let go and asked them to come back. Some of them did, some of them didn't. They had different job opportunities, but trying to make that whole was, I think, something that obviously our whole team was very proud of, the fact that we were able to get back to a fiscally stable place. Some of the other things too, just emphasizing, was just prioritizing student safety. Again, you see it tonight. Armed police officers in the buildings. Obviously, a great connection with our state police. We have a great working relationship. Upgrades to our district-wide camera systems. We now have enhanced visitor management systems, weapons detections, vape detector systems, e-hall pass. So we have a really good grasp because we know that when kids come here and staff come here, they have to be safe. They have to, have a great education. And thankfully, we have incredible staff here in every single building that's really making a positive difference every day. And we have great families that are helping with educating our students as well. Moving on, just again, looking at some of the enhancements that we're doing, and if you haven't been at 209, is you're coming down 115. Obviously, the $87 million high school renovation project. It's really exciting, really getting off the ground, and obviously, it's going to be fully funded by 2027. That is not an easy task, as you guys could imagine, but it's really impressive what our team and our board was able to do over the course of a number of years to get to that point. $15 million in completed district-wide renovations in all of the buildings, focusing a lot on like mechanical, electrical, looking at enhancements for HVAC and some of our air conditioning. Obviously, classroom furniture, something that we continue to make purchases for because some of our furniture was 30 years old. So making some really great enhancements. Obviously, our one-to-one Chromebook technology initiatives were great. Power School being consistent, right? Because we don't want to continue to turn things over all the time, and enhance communication with our website and Facebook. I'm just going to leave this up for a minute, just to take a second, but a couple of things I want to just focus on was just the way that we collectively have accomplished this together. Some of the things have obviously been investments in our community. Comes in the form of partnerships with our education foundation. We have our administrators. In fact, we have staff members that are constantly, and board members, in fact, right, that are volunteering at the West End Food Pantry and giving back to our community and looking after our community. Also, hometown heroes, honoring our veterans and the great things that they've done in their careers. So that's been going incredibly well at the home football games. Our school, our staff have raised $29,000 to give back to the community, to help support our students, to help support different programs. So that's what our goal is. You know, when we talk about education, it's not just what happens here, it's what happens here in our community. So that's what's really important to all of us. Moving on to the future vision, there are 3 strategic objectives that are going to have a profound impact on our future. Obviously, continuing with the academic excellence, continuing to boost student achievement, post-secondary opportunities, college credits opportunities, think about cost savings for our families as well. Continuous open dialogue, so any person, as you know, that's ever reached out to me, have set aside time. We have face-to-face meetings or, phone conversations. And again, I still continue to encourage those of you that we've never had a conversation with, let's talk. Let me understand your perspective so we can work together because obviously, the students are at the center of the decisions that we make. And then also having stability and equity. So maintaining that fiscal stability over obviously the course of many years to come and really setting the course for Pleasant Valley. And then lastly, focusing in on enhanced curriculum. So looking at ways that we're increasing instructional minutes because they count, looking at the ways that we're going to embed reading across all of the content areas in our future, using data to make decisions in what we're doing next and how we're supporting students and tailoring individualized learning, and collaborating, because that's what we do as educators, that's what we do as a board, that's what we do as a staff. We collaborate, we all have skill sets, and we're using our skill sets to strengthen the bonds and the opportunities that we have for our students. Lastly, I just want to focus on just the idea of reflective learning reflective level of teaching, and really focusing in on, what does it look like in the day of the life of a student? How are they engaging with their teacher, with their other classmates? What are they doing in terms of research projects, case studies, debates, critical analysis of things that we all know as adults. We don't work in isolation. We work as teams. We work with partners. We have different skill sets, and we're trying to bring that holistic view when we're educating our students, not only for engagement, but also because it's exciting to do, and it's also real-world applicable. So those are all things we're really tying our emphasis on. The last piece, and I'll kind of go through this quickly because it looks like I have 6 seconds, so sorry, didn't work. But some of the data I thought was really important just to share, and I promise 2 minutes max. The special education rates, obviously you can see our trend data, it is still continuing to climb. We're currently at about 25% for our students with IEPs within our district. Moving on, our attendance. So there's been great emphasis on our attendance for the past several years, and we're starting to get some great strides. And obviously, it starts with kids coming here. So if kids are coming here and we have incredible staff, which we do, they're going to give them the great education. It's going to have a profound impact on their learning, their opportunities, and their future. So that's what we're going to continue to strive for. Looking at our graduation rates, again, those things are increasing. So I know it seems incremental, but you know what? 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28, those numbers will continue to climb. And our counselors and our high school staff are doing incredible jobs to make sure kids are going to continue to be successful. Looking at our scholarships, I mean, you could just look right there to 2023 and then look at how it jumps to 2024, 2025. Our goal, we've hit where we want to be as the lower, echelon of what we want to work towards. So 7.6 million really becomes our new baseline, and anything above that is what we want to try to continue to work on. And obviously the number of students that are continuing to have scholarships, opportunities, and less financial burden for families as they continue to move on into their future. Some other important things, so kind of maintaining somewhat stable brick and mortar enrollment. Obviously, it ebbs and flows, but something that we're continuing to do is, making sure that not only we're providing great education, but we're also really focusing towards bringing students back into our brick and mortar setting. We do have an opportunity through the Bears Academy, which is also great, and currently we're working on having this run in-house for grades 6, 7, and 8 for next year. So we're working on a trajectory for that, so it's our teachers with our kids. It makes sense. Lastly, our cyber charter enrollment. So many of you know Act 47. And, again, there's residency verifications. I can tell you right now that our enrollment report, which currently shows that about 404 cyber charter, through great emphasis and efforts that we've made for the past few weeks, that number is already down 16 spots. We're going to continue to chip away at where students are to verify residency, make sure that they're still living in our district, because we're spending quite a bit of money for individuals that don't currently live in our district, and we want to verify that. So that's going to continue to be one of our emphasis for the next couple of months. All right. So that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Conrad.
Of course.
Does board members have any questions for Dr. Conrad in the presentation? I know some of us have seen it a couple of times, so even some in the audience. All right, we will move on. Secretary's report. Mrs. Smale, please.
Good evening. Tonight, I am requesting approval of the minutes of the meeting held on February 26, 2026, and approval of the March 26, 2026 board meeting agenda, including the removal of item 10F because it's a duplicate of item 9G.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walters, seconded by Mr. Kaczynski. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. At this time, I'd like to open up for Pleasant Valley citizens to address the board. If you could please come to the podium, state your name, the township that you reside in, and you do have a 3-minute limit.
If you don't mind.
No, not at all.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm Jeremy Livingston. I live up in Effort. So some of you know me. I'm on the Citizens Advisory Committee. I've been working with the board for the past year. It's been a really good situation. I think it's been good feedback. I have 3 kids in the district. I have my master's degree in business administration. I'm working on a doctorate in business administration, so I kind of know where I'm coming from with some of this. I do obviously want to talk about the thing that a lot of people are upset about, Dr. Conrad's contract. Being an executive myself, I will say that I've reviewed the contract. I looked at it very closely. One of the things that I'm big on is rewarding performance and holding people accountable. And he and I have talked about accountability before as well. I'm not opposed to the contract as it stands. I think there has been a lot of improvement. We just saw his presentation. And the trajectory of a large organization like a school district takes time to see that shift, you know? I know it's been, 3 or 4 years now, but that's like the turning point as I see it. I also want to remind people there's a huge opportunity cost when you have to replace an executive. Executive search firms cost a ton of money. There's time loss. There's the just changes in all the processes. The administrators have to learn the new way of doing things. There's a huge cost there that people need to consider. And I think it would be a reasonable thing. I did a lot of research around the cost of, the percent of the budget versus the superintendent's salary. We're at 0.2% of the district budget, which is absolutely average. So that's pretty much all I had to say. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dina Berger. I live in Polk Township. I just came here tonight to speak because I'm speaking for the elderly that live in this community. I'm speaking for the young families that are trying to raise children in our district that can't afford a mortgage. What happens when they lose their homes to foreclosure, or the elderly lose their home to high taxes? What happens to that salary?
Could we just ask what agenda item
I'm
you're
sorry.
speaking to?
I'm sorry,
That's
Dr.
okay.
Conrad's agenda item. Sorry,
Okay,
the
thank you.
contract. We all know the board plays a very, very big, crucial role in shaping the future of our district. I don't deny that. I honestly wouldn't want your jobs. But you need to remember that the people of this community put you there for our voices, to speak on our behalves, and to take in consideration our futures in this community. I don't feel economically this area can take a high salary. Not saying you're not worth it. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. But what I can say is this area can't handle it. These people can't handle it. They're losing their homes. That's all I have to say. I just hope that the board remembers why they're there and who put them there. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mike Galler, Ross Township. Good evening, directors and school board cabinet members. I'd like to start by speaking on agenda item 9B, Dr. Conrad's contract. There's been a lot of misinformation going around on the internet, like usual. People just want to go off on things, but I'd like to present some data tonight here, just to put things in perspective. The Monroe County average, again, Monroe County average for superintendents right now is $239,000. You are going tonight to approve Dr. Conrad for next school year starting at 218. That is just over $21,000 under the county average. Again, the county average. For those of you that aren't aware out in the community, we fall under a consortium that falls under Colonial IU-20, and that consists of 13 districts. I don't care what Parkland School District superintendent's getting, nor do I care what Allentown School District's superintendent is getting. What I do care about is, again, going back to what our county average is, in addition to what our consortium average is of the 13 districts that cover Saucon Valley School District all the way up to the New York line in Pike County with Del Val. When you look at that average there, again, there's a broad demographic region there in that. Smaller school districts, larger ones. It does encompass Bethlehem and Easton. The average between those areas, even with those smaller districts, is 210,000. You're not off the mark with what Dr. Conrad's asking with his contract. And for the people that are out in our community complaining about this, this is what it is in education. I can't put it any more simple with people. This is what it is. And listen, Dr. Conrad, we've had Mark's changes in the past with things. I'm seeing data up there and I'm glad to see it. But I got to tell the community this. We're looking to make Dr. Conwell, the board is looking to make him at least not even at the average, but a little bit below the average. Mark my words, folks, one way or another, this district will pay for it. If that man does not stick around, the next person that comes in will expect the average. One way or another, we are going to pay for it. And if that happens, not only are we going to pay that high salary, but we're going to have somebody in here new, and we're going to be starting all over who's got to start a new vision, start new direction, and start all new data collection. Do your research, but do it smartly. What the board is asking for tonight for Dr. Conrad's contract is not absurd by any means. It's right on mark. In addition to that, a 3% raise, again, that's a standard across education right now. Longevity, standard in education. I'm sorry the community needs to hear it, but this is what it is in education anymore. The medical leave.
Mr. Gallery, you're going to have to
Oh,
wrap.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Is there anyone else? Can you come back? Yeah, okay.
Mike Galler, Ross Township. I'm speaking on item 9B. The medical waiver, or not the medical waiver, but the waiver of taking benefits. That is another good thing to have in there. Are we looking at $500 a month? Okay. But in the bigger scheme of things, I don't know how much people are aware of what it costs for medical benefits. It could cover, 50,000? Okay, 25,000 here. We're at a cost savings by allowing this to happen with this contract. Things we need to think about as a community. When you look at for face value what this is, you're going, oh my gosh, this is education. This is what it pays. This is what it is to be in this field anymore. Real quick on item 15F, MCTI. If you look at the data that's being presented tonight with the attachment, The MCTI enrollment is 1,200 plus. This is awesome. MCTI is seeing good growth. We as a district are the strongest supporter in Monroe County for career and tech ed, which is awesome. But what I want to point out here is the proposed budget that Dennis is looking for you guys to approve tonight is $11 million. That is an excellent number. He's being very fiscally responsible with his campus up there. $11 million to support 1,200 plus students is awesome. And I commend Dennis for doing that, but I will ask you as a board to please be cognizant that as the end of the school year comes up, that you vote to keep excess funds up at MCTI. Some years we look to bring it back. He needs to keep that. I recommend that you vote in favor of letting him keep that to build up his capital funds for an expansion project that's going to be coming down in the next 5 years or so. Again, that's going to build money up that he already has there sitting in his account that we won't have to worry about later down the road with the economy where it is. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rose Fuller. I live right up the road here, Chestnut Hill Township, Effort. I didn't come here with like a specific agenda. I didn't do my research. Kudos to you because you guys did research. All I'm going to say as a mother of 3, as a parent, you know, and again, congratulations.
is this to do
Maybe
with-
you deserve that salary. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I've only lived here for 3 years. But in the short time that I've lived up here, this is what I'm going to tell you as a parent. I don't approve or appreciate the remote learn for our students because they don't spend any time hardly at all with the teachers. I'm going to be frank. I work from home full time. I see it. I hear it. It's extremely frustrating. I'm also frustrated with the fact that, you know, our students have to get online and report on those remote learn days. Well, where are the teachers? I've had my child marked absent numerous times on remote learn where I then have to email the teacher saying, no, my child's there, just nobody logged in my child. So my child isn't absent, you're absent. As a parent, it's very frustrating. So that's my issue that I have. Another issue that I have is I understand that taxes were also spent on the metal detectors. They're not used every single day. So my question as a parent is, why not? I mean, what's the purpose of having such a massive resource with everything that's going on right now within our country with students and shootings if we don't even use them? So, I mean, I understand you guys have better security, you guys have security guards, fantastic. They do a great job. I see them every day. It's fantastic. But I just think that maybe we all up the ante and use the resources that we do in fact have instead of spending more money on other things. Again, not to discredit you, you probably are worth it and you probably deserve it. I didn't do my research on that. And quite frankly, I don't care if my taxes go up a little bit, fine. If it means our kids are gonna be getting a better education. I don't feel that they really are as a parent. Now, in this district, I feel like our kids are doing fantastic because I came from Bethlehem. I can tell you, it's day and night. What you guys are doing here is by far better than what my kids were getting down in Bethlehem. It was, and again, pardon my French, everybody, it's a shit show down there. It really is, which is why we moved up here. We decided to truck our kids up here. I have a son who has an IEP because he's got special needs, and it's better here than it is in other districts. I can be the first to tell you that. I have nieces and nephews in other districts, and I've seen it, I've heard it, I'm living it. So it's much better up here. However, I just feel we need to do a little better, sorry.
No, you're fine. I
Nobody
don't,
else
no,
wants to
no,
come
no,
up?
let's just
I'll
start.
finish.
Anybody else?
No?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, I understand. So I just feel like as a district, we just need to do a little bit better when it comes to our kids, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are gonna one day take care of us, run this country, make all of the decisions that we're not gonna be either here to make or are gonna be able and capable to make. That's all I care about. So, I mean, I applaud him because he did do his research, and he had my vote on that, so, congratulations. I just feel as a parent, if our kids are going to be weathering whatever storms, that we all weather it together and it not be up to the parents for the most part to make sure that, things are happening. I shouldn't have to go hunting down teachers to make sure that my kids are online. And I also don't like that when they do online services, that they're there for a couple of minutes and they're off on their own to do their assignments and they have to submit online work. I don't like that. I'm sorry. We didn't do that when we were young growing up. We went to school in feet of snow. I know I did. So I just think that if they're going to be remote, fine. Just let's educate these kids so that they have a better future. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we're going to move on. Treasurer's report, Mrs. Surface, please.
Yes, good evening. Tonight, I would like a motion for item number 4A through G. A is informational only.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mr. Kaczynski. Is there any discussion?
I have a couple questions. Tammy, 4B, the capital equipment replacement, the Koch 33, were those?
They were for the 2 cargo vans for maintenance staff.
Okay, I thought, I just wanted to make sure that. And then McAndrews, that law office, was that a special education settlement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 4C, American Heart Association, St. Luke's.
This was for the Heart Savers CPR, AED, and BLS training course for our nurses who in turn can train our staff.
Great, thank you. And 4D, the Beta Home Health Care, is that substitute nurse or is that something?
This particular invoice is for a substitute, but we use Bayada does service our students as well.
So the substitution goes through them, not through the ESS? or-
ESS did not have anybody available. That's why we had to go through Bayada.
Okay, thank you. And that's good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Just briefly, I had mentioned a couple of months ago that we were in contract negotiations with the support staff. I'm pleased to report that the parties have made significant progress to the point where we're at a tentative agreement, and that it's anticipated that the parties will be voting in April, hopefully to ratify a multi-year contract.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other unfinished business? Okay, we'll move on to new business, Monroe Career and Technical Institute. Mrs. Surface.
Yes, good evening. My report is attached.
Okay, thank you. Colonial IU, Mr. Clark.
I have nothing new. I had a meeting last night, so that report should be coming for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. PSBA Liaison, Mrs. Hopley.
Yes, hello. My report, there was just a couple items for PSBA. The recent developments with PSBA says they have concerns over financial conditions in Pennsylvania public school districts and adequacy of state support. In response to Governor Josh Shapiro's 26-27 budget, PSBA expressed support for ongoing investments in education and student services while emphasizing greater and more comprehensive funding and needed to address districts' needs across the Commonwealth. At the same time, PSBA remains focused on monitoring legislative and legal issues and the effect of public education, reflecting its broader advocacy on the role on behalf of local school boards. The priorities align with wider reporting on challenges districts are facing, including rising charter tuition payments, growing special ed, and healthcare costs, and the lingering effects of prior budget delays. Taken together, these updates indicate the PSBA's current agenda centers on securing strong state investment, managing escalating operational costs, and advancing policies that support long-term financial stability of the school, the public schools. Then the other day, they just added something else that they still have PA funding to help get more special ed teachers in the classroom. There's a third phase for accelerated pathways to certify educators, working on emergency permits. There's a $1 million grant for this third wave coming through, and people should go to their schools, Coast DeSalles, ESU, Moravian, Northampton and Kutztown are the designated schools for this pathway. That's it on that.
Thank you. Education report at our working session earlier this month. We had an update on the two new marquees that we're looking to purchase, one for here and one for the high school. And, oh my gosh, I just drew a blank because I didn't write any of this down. We had a Pleasant Valley Middle School update. The students provided us an update through PVTV. It was absolutely wonderful. They did everything on their own. And Dr. Ayer had given us an update on the new science program that we will begin next school year. Finance, Mrs. Surface.
Yes, please, I'll be calling for finances later on in the agenda under item number 15 and 16.
Okay, thank you. Athletic report, Mr. O'Keefe.
Good evening, athletics update. So boys wrestling, huge congratulations to District 11's 215-pound champion, PB's Evan Gillespie. So that was an awesome job of him. He's the program's first wrestler champion in over a decade. What an incredible achievement. Spring sports, despite the unpredictable weather this spring, all teams are in full swing. Best of luck to all of our student athletes. I added one that's not on the agenda there, but girls lacrosse. Huge shout out to Brielle Hallamar, sophomore on the PB girls lacrosse team. She earned the Times News Athlete of the Week. And I wrote this Saturday before I flew out, so the school board is now working. I will be asking Mr. Korzinski and maybe some students to get some videos that we can show and blast it out to the community to see actually what it can do, how it works. And again, it's a learning curve for everybody, so it's gonna take some time. But I do know there's gonna be like a movie night that he's gonna have during the summer for the community, because it's such a huge screen for us to utilize. That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Dooner, policy.
Janet Dooner, and I've attached a short report, and I do encourage that the people read the details of the attachments which come under the superintendent's reports and request for further explanation of the updates of these policies. Thank you.
Thank you. Capital improvement, Mr. Berger.
CHA provided a high school renovation update at our last working session. Our Capital Improvements Committee had an internet meeting on March 18th to discuss options for the high school new flooring, mooring-related issues. There was then a follow-up visit to the high school on March 23rd to look at the conditions that, to keep it fresh in everyone's mind. The Capital Improvements Committee team met today to discuss the high school renovation, including the work that's being done in the administration area, cafeteria, mechanical additions, which will continue through August of this year. Interior renovation activities have been other interior renovation activities have been started and will be ongoing through the rest of the calendar year. A review is ongoing relative to the high school traffic patterns, and we'll be publishing in the future the patterns that will exist for school year 26-27. We're looking to find the best solution option for the continued high school greenhouse leaks. And so we expect to provide updates on that in the future. And a solution for the marred surfaces in the high school renovation areas that have been installed will be discussed at our April working session. Will be recommendations also relative to options for the leaks in the greenhouse area. Additional projects that are ongoing are the intermediate school chiller replacement and an upgrade for the middle school HVAC area as well. Pleasant Valley continues to work with our partners to pursue grants and other opportunities to help fund our projects. Several high school renovation orders are on today's agenda for approval. Looking forward, our next capital improvements meeting will be on April 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Technology report, almost missed. Okay. Security report, Mr. Walters.
Yeah, so items 9D, 1 and 2, as well as 10C1 for approval for the additional security officers that are needed to fill the gaps in staffing that we have on the team. I want to thank the team for making that priority, and at that time, if it's approved today, they'll fill all remaining gaps and will be fully staffed. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Advisory Committee, Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes, the March minutes are attached. They're mostly Dr. Conrad's presentation. Again, I'm glad people saw it tonight. We saw very few showed up for that meeting, but it went over well. April meeting right now has no topic, and if it doesn't find one within the next week or so, we'll probably cancel that one. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, superintendent's reports, Dr. Conrad.
Tonight, I'm seeking approval for items 7B and 7C. Items 8A is informational.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Walters, seconded by Mrs. Hopley. Okay, is there any discussion? Sure.
Sorry, bear with me. I think I'm in the right section here. I have such trouble following this, Janet Dooner. I would just like to vote no on policy 227 because I would like to continue to talk about that with Dr. Conrad at some point in time. Thank you.
Oh, I have a question about 8. Did we say 8?
I'm sorry?
Did we go into 8?
No, we're not
No,
there
we're
yet.
not there yet. Sorry. It's 6 and 7?
We are just on Dr. Conrad's number 7.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, and just,
Sure.
policy 227, just the question about the choice of either a 10-day suspension or a medical test. Is that, Mark, is that good? I mean, is that legally okay? I just want to.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
when
choice.
you have situations where the district is presented with a scenario where a student is exhibiting either conduct consistent with potentially being under the influence, and they have reasonable suspicion to suspect that, they are afforded then the opportunity for a test. We can't physically force a child to be administered a test. Under those scenarios, though, there can be an adverse inference taken about the status of the child, which could then trigger the disciplinary process.
Right, the safety of the child. Correct. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You're opposed to 2. That's okay, that's where you would say it. Yep.
Opposed to policy 227.
Okay, thank you.
Again, can I
Got
just,
it.
can I say more, please?
Well,
I think what I would like,
We're past the comments.
yeah, we're past the
okay,
comments.
that's okay. then
Save it for at the end.
That's
Save it
fine,
for at the end.
perfect.
Okay? All right, and that motion carries. Okay.
Moving on to Human Resources, Dr. Raylan Howard.
Good evening. Tonight, I am seeking approval of item 9B.
Could I have a motion for item 9B?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mr. Walters. Is there a question down here? Item 8 was just informational. It was the enrollment report. Is that the question? Oh, I thought there was a question.
Oh, I did have a question about 8.
Okay.
Do I go
Can you hang
backwards?
it back?
Yes, I can put
Hang
it at the end. Sure.
please? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
All
we're
right,
on-
so I have a motion, a motion on the floor for item 9B, which is the election of the superintendent and the contract. Is there any discussion?
Yes, and can we have a roll call at the end?
Sure.
Can you put that there? No?
Sure.
Okay. So on 9B, it's the election of superintendent and the contract. So I just have a couple of questions, statements with this. The issue I have is that the stakeholders were not included, and despite the November 25th, 24 statement on the record, board members were given less than 8 days before a vote. That is not meaningful engagement. This does not reflect community voice. It creates the appearance of a process and not a genuine input. Moving this contract from December 2026 to July 2026 breaks a prior commitment. It also moves the opportunity to evaluate performance benchmarks, the same expectations we hold for staff and students. The other thing I do not like in the contract is the business manager approves the superintendent expenses, and there's not a check and balance. Business manager is a subordinate, and why can't a board director sign off on it, the treasurer or the president? The board can give superintendents money at any time, at any amount, based on what? That was another item in the contract. At any time, a superintendent can get money for any reason at any time. I don't know what this is based on. The responsibility here is to reflect our community and our staff and our students, not on a rush timeline. And I just have concerns about this.
Can you elaborate on the checks and balances part?
Yes, because the business manager is a subordinate to the superintendent, so usually, I guess in the past practices, it was treasurer of the board or the president of the board would also sign off on it. Not that anything would happen, but it's a delicate situation. And I don't know if somebody would want to be in that position.
And Mrs. Hopley, you did bring that up, and I know I
Yes.
responded to you on that.
Yes.
And obviously, the review of the necessary, and these are expenses for, say, trips to Hershey for a data conference. These are trips to, superintendent conference or to the IU. Those are what we're talking about in terms of expenses. But ultimately, we have kind of two layers of check on this one. First of all, we have our CFO, who is obligated as a fiduciary to the community and to the board to ensure that the monies are being spent properly. But then secondarily, ultimately, those expenses do come to the board. So and I know that, and this is a very good board when it comes to ensuring that, these line items are good to go. If there's concern about any of those line items, which will show up, there will be questions that can be asked of our business manager on the record in this open forum about those expenses.
I just have a comment too. As treasurer for Pleasant Valley Board, every time there is a check run, the president, myself, as well as any board member, sits through and looks through all of those invoices, and we sign off on that every time they're put on an agenda. The second thing I'd like to comment, if there was any mismanagement of any kind of thing for the superintendent, it would be brought up at the independent audit, which happens every single year. And every single year for the past 5 years, we have had an audit with absolutely no findings. It was presented at our last meeting.
Nope, we're
Still on
discussion.
Well, I don't know if I should save my discussion on this or after the vote, because this is really my conscious reflection for myself as a board director who was recently elected, and for the Pleasant Valley community. And the people are a reflection in this community of heritage and history, with a welcomed infusion of new families looking to live in a rural area to raise their family. And as a school director, I feel like I have a sworn duty to serve this community by learning the demographics of the community that we live in, serving the young, the old, the single-family workers, the single families, and what a household looks like with their income. And much of the income, if you look at the Monroe County's Economic Development Corporation's report, it does say that Monroe County overall, we're still at like a 53,000 median average income. And I do suspect that our West End is a little bit lower. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. My question is can the taxpayers in this community support? And that, I know that Dr. Conrad's salary increase is only a tiny portion of our entire budget. However, the increase that goes from the past average increases of about $6,500 a year. This one is almost triple to that, and I just need to be conscious of that as a board member. And I think it's our responsibility to be conservative, if not reducing spending where we can. I'll hold the rest of my comments right now, except to say that I like working with Dr. Conrad. I think he is, if I could separate the election process of having him be with us versus the salary process or the salary review, I would have been much happier with all of this, because I do think Dr. Conrad's continuity for this community is very good. We get emails from him very late. He's working all the time. I think he works around the clock. But I just wish that the process would have been better. I have not served long enough to be able to do an evaluation with this board, and I think that hurts the community as well, because I was not a part of that evaluation process, his performance review. Let me be clear on that, his performance review. But does Dr. Conrad good for to be here? I do agree with that side of it. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question, just for clarification, for some people who haven't been through this process before? When you're looking for a new superintendent, what on average is the cost to commission a search as a board?
I mean,
It's usually to $20,000 plus?
Yeah, you're certainly spending in the thousands, from PSBA at the low end.
Just want to point that out.
To 10, I mean, I had a district spend $55,000 just to bring candidates in front of the board.
I will say this, one of the things that I felt important when I got on this board was consistency, because we had so much changeover at so many levels, and stability. And Dr. Conrad brings that to this district. Is there always room for improvement? Absolutely. And I think Dr. Conrad would agree to that. But we are slowly growing in the right direction. And I understand there's frustration at times that, why isn't this better? The score's here. I always look at it like this. This is a big cruise tanker ship, okay? You can't just bank a hard left. You have to move slowly and get it going in the right direction. And I do believe that Dr. Conrad and his leadership are getting us moving in that right direction. Thank you.
If I could have a moment, please. Those who were on the board, and there are a few of us left, for the predecessor, in 1 year of a bad administrator, by my calculations, it cost the district in excess of $1 million. Put that in your hat and think about it for a little bit. So when you have a good administrator and you have somebody that's moving you in the right direction, do you want to say that they're not worth saving potentially millions of dollars when one person in 1 year can cost you in excess of $1 million? Think about that.
All right, last but not least, I'm sure. I'm not saying anything new that Dr. Conrad doesn't already know, because unlike other people, I approached him prior to coming out here and told him how I was going to vote, which was going to be no. The big reasoning behind it is because of the scores. There is a lot of progress that he's made along the way, and attempts and stuff like that, but I'm a big one for scores. The other thing I told him is that accountability, like the public is out there and they do ask us to be their voice. And I had quite a few people contact me about this contract, and I can let you know that I'm very disappointed, because you want me to be the voice, but yet the amount of people that are here shows that really you want me to be your voice, but all I ask is that you show up so that my voice means something. It's not just mine. So unfortunately, I said I will say no, but it's nothing against you personal. It's just towards the continuance. Thank you.
I just have one little one. So I know it's difficult for everybody to get out here, and I know we asked them to come out, and with the way gas prices are babysitting, it is challenging. So they can tune in online. They do tell us what they would like represented, and that's exactly what we're doing as directors. And we have to convey that thought because we are their voice. So if they can't get here, there may be logistics and things like that, but they do have a voice. So I'm happy who turned out, and they are able to make their comments heard. But we are expressing exactly what the community has been telling us.
I'd like to make a few statements, if I could, please, and I want to make sure everyone understands that these are my personal remarks. Again, some will be duplicates from what you've heard Dr. Conrad present earlier. I just want to remind you of where we were when Dr. Conrad arrived. As he stated, we had a budget deficit of $6 million. Every contract in this district had expired before he even arrived. 6/30 of '21, all of our employee contracts had expired. Teachers, support staff, administrators. And then the teachers handed us a strike notice at Dr. Conrad's very first board meeting, which was only his second day on the job. We had no accountability and no trust. There was no stability at the leadership level in a number of areas for a number of years. We had aging facilities. We knew the high school's electrical, plumbing, and heating needed a complete overhaul, along with the outdated and worn classrooms. What would you have said on Facebook? I can't imagine what would have been said if there was no heat on a cold day in the high school because of the old coal burners that are there and they stopped working. We can't repair them. We can't get parts for them. What would have happened if when the electric went off at some point because of a storm, I say prayers when it would go off because I would pray that it would come back on in the high school because I was that concerned about it. Did you all come to the tours we offered to show how bad the electrical, plumbing, and mechanical was at the high school? I can tell you, not very many people did. But the big question was, how could we afford this project, also being faced with that $6 million deficit, and knowing our community, and knowing that they couldn't bear the financial burden of this undertaking? Well, extremely hard decisions had to be made. And all the areas of this district needed to be analyzed for cost savings. And we did it. Did we have to do furloughs? Yes. Did we have to do a management system for cafeteria? Yes. But you saw what Dr. Conrad presented. We were in a deficit in that cafeteria for years, and we finally turned it around. We consolidated bus runs. We also put PVE and PVI bus runs together. We looked at everything. I have been in the seat and worked with 6 of those 9 superintendents back there on that back wall. I have lived through many, many, many tough decisions, including growth, enrollment decline, outsourcing transportation. I lost many dear friends through that. Furloughs twice. But the absolute lack of leadership in this district during the years of 2020 and 2021 put this district in a huge deficit. One that has taken us on a very long journey to recover from. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. But I can tell you, our financial house is in order. We have balanced budgets each year. We have the funding to purchase the resources our students need. We have enhanced our security systems. We have competitive CBAs, meaning what we did when we looked at contracts, we looked at what the teachers were being paid throughout Monroe County. We're not the highest teachers being paid in Monroe County, but we're not the lowest anymore, and we can attract quality candidates. Oh, where am I at? We have the funding resources in place to upgrade our facilities. It took a long time to get there. Is there still work to be done? For sure, there always is, always. But we have the team in place to continue this journey. And I am sure that this team, along with this board, will continue this journey in a positive direction. I have many things I could say, because again, I've been in this seat for a long time. Just at our last working session, our business manager, Mrs. Smale, presented the first look at our 26-27 budget. Did any of you see it? We're thinking of only a 1% increase. Now, there are still a number of items that are outstanding. My hope is that we can come in even below that 1%. But we need those few things so we can look at it. Mr. Galler, I thank you for doing some of the work. I do just want to add a couple of things to those numbers that you presented. As he had said, the Monroe County average for superintendents is $239,000. Even placing with this contract, Dr. Conrad, he will be the lowest paid superintendent in Monroe County. The other thing is that we were able to look at is the number of years that all the IU superintendents have been in their seat. As stated, there are 13 school districts in our IU. And if you take the average of all the years they have served as a superintendent, the average is only 6.5 years. Dr. Conrad is in his 9th year as a superintendent. So again, experience matters. I just have one final statement. As we consider the superintendent's contract this evening, I want to take a moment to speak on why this decision matters for our district. Over the past several years, we've asked a great deal of our superintendent, navigating challenges, strengthening communication, and keeping our focus on what matters most, our students. Throughout that time, we've seen consistent leadership, a commitment to transparency, improved accountability, and a willingness to collaborate with this board, our staff, and our community. Stability and leadership is not just beneficial, it's essential. It allows us to maintain the momentum on long-term initiatives, support our educators, and continue improving the student experience. Renewing this contract ensures that the progress we've made doesn't stall and that we can continue to build on a strong foundation. I also want to acknowledge that while board members may bring different perspectives, we all share the same goal, doing what is best for Pleasant Valley. Supporting this contract is, in my view, a step toward continued stability, consistency, and forward movement for our district. I am confident in the superintendent's ability to lead us through the next phase of our work, and I will be voting in favor of this contract. Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor, please signify by saying. I'm sorry. You're right. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Kathy, please, roll call.
Ryan O'Keefe,
Yes.
John Kazitsky,
No.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Sue Kresge,
Yes.
Denise Hopley,
No.
Norm Berger,
Yes.
Diane Surface,
Yes.
Janet Dooner,
No.
and Matthew Walters.
Yes.
And that motion is approved with a 6-3.
6-3.
Right, okay, 6-3 vote. Thank you. Dr. Howard?
I'd like to say congratulations. I'm glad I'm doing
Oh,
HR
yes.
tonight. I'm also seeking approval of items 9C through 9H. items 9I through 9L are informational.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Walters, seconded by Mr. O'Keefe. Is there any discussion?
Just a 9D with the security hires, we had police and I saw two other things. Are we now up to date on our security that we were?
We are
looking for?
completely staffed.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
I'm also seeking approval of items 10B through 10E. Items 10G and 10H are informational.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gisiski, seconded by Mr. Walters. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
Curriculum, Dr. Howard.
I am also seeking approval of items 11B, 11C, and 12A.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Gisiski and seconded by Mrs. Hopley. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries.
Moving to operations, I'm also seeking approval for 13A.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mr. Gisiski. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries.
Moving on to building reports. The building reports are attached. There's also copies out in the lobby, and we're taking those building reports each month to provide information out to the community of seeing the great things that we're doing here in Pleasant Valley. That's all. Moving on to business management, Mrs. Tammy Smell.
Good evening. Tonight, I am requesting approval of items 15B through 15S. Items 15T through 15V are informational.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Berger, seconded by Mrs. Surface. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have some. 15B, LMNO. I have questions about the allocation, and they're all together. So $1 million has been spent on high school furniture with 2 phases still remaining. Now an additional $600,000 from the contingency fund is being requested. I don't know what's wrong with the current furniture. Is it unsafe? And then why wasn't it replaced immediately if it was? Is it damaged? And where is that documentation? Administrative furniture was already recently replaced, 2 years. Now we're replacing furnitures for teachers, police, officers, reception areas. I don't know why. And where is all this old furniture going? Should I stop and let you answer, or do I just keep going?
I may have to ask you to repeat the question.
Okay, so it's a concern with safety and, are they damaged or unsafe? Because I don't know why we're spending all this money on furniture.
The furniture's 30 years old. It's time for a refresh. It was part of the high school renovation project budget. So that's where it came from.
Okay, but where are we putting it? Are we storing it? Or what are you doing
The old
with it?
furniture?
Yeah.
The old furniture, we're not allowed to just throw things out at a school district.
Right.
We have to do, advertise it to go out for auction, which would be Gov Deals. After that time, if it's not sold, then it can be donated or thrown out.
Okay, so all of the furniture is 30 years old, like administration, because I remember them replacing it.
As far as I know, administration furniture has not been replaced in the 6 years I'm here.
And we just had that discussion today, actually, in capital improvement about the desk at the
Falling
in the
apart?
administration.
Falling
Yeah, falling
apart.
apart. And I can remember when I was over there one day when, many years ago this was, one of the maintenance people was trying to refinish the desks so
Yes.
that it would look nicer.
So that they look nice,
It's very,
yes.
yeah, very old.
Okay, so we're replacing all this furniture. I just don't know why I can't keep it instead of spending all this money, even though you say it's budgeted. Maybe we don't have to spend the contingency money. Maybe we should save it for an emergency. We don't know what's coming down the pike with 2 more phases. It's just an unjustified spending, and at the time when our community is facing real financial pressures, healthcare, prescription, fuel, heating, groceries, utilities, and then even caring for their children or the elderly. we must be mindful that every dollar we approve is a dollar coming from our taxpayer. So our role is not just to approve spending, it's to protect the financial well-being of the community we serve. There is no executed contract provided. I didn't get an executed contract like I asked for with all the pivots and the ongoing change orders without transparency. So there's no comparison for me, and I have questions about that because I still don't understand how esports got into that whole mix when it wasn't even in the original contract. So I'm still looking for that. I just object to the 600,000 transfer, the expenditures, and any unsupported changes. And 15D, the Glowforge, we're in 15, correct? The Glowforge is $9,294. What course is this tied to? Was this included in the original course proposal, or is this another add-on?
Let her answer that, please.
Sure.
Dr. Howard's actually going to answer that one.
Sure.
The Glowforge is for PVI. It is for our STEM technology program that every single student at PVI goes through. So it benefits all of the students there.
And it's coming out of what fund?
Ready to Learn,
Okay,
a grant that if we don't use the money, the state takes it back.
okay.
Anything else in 15?
I do.
Okay.
I'm just making sure I'm getting it all. Okay, so 15Q, QRS, yes. The $750, it's an FBLA scholarship. So is this $750 for 4 seniors totaling $3,000? Or is it one amount for $750?
4 students would each have the possibility to earn $725 each. That was money that was raised by our staff to go back to our students.
That was from the dress down days that FBLA sponsored, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay, so does FBLA retain any of the funds for competitions? And if not, I don't know why not. And what amount was raised from that amount? So does that expend all the monies collected?
For that amount, I believe all of the money went back towards the students. FBLA does a number of fundraising. They have a few dances, actually, in fact, at PVE, PVI, and they, at some times, will keep portions of what is fundraised, and at other times, they will contribute it back to the community.
Did they have that dance?
The dance is in the next month or so? It's May 9th. May.
At the high school.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They're switched to the high school. Right. Right.
Okay. And for 15, that's it?
That was it for 15?
That's it?
Okay. Anyone
15.
else?
Yes, I just, Tammy, on the contract D, 15D, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, could you explain it to the public so they understand what that
Sure.
assessment thing is?
The first 5 that are on there is with Coyle Lynch and Company. They're to do appraisals on taxpayer-initiated appeals with the county.
So that's when people appeal and want to get money back from us.
Correct. They have their
So we're
assessment on their
fighting.
property, and they are disputing it with the county. It is not school district-initiated, it is
We're
taxpayer-initiated.
fighting to keep that.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, thank you. 15 K, transportation. I guess I'm stuck with voting that one no matter what, because we're stuck with I just like it known that of course, we're unhappy that we ever went into outsourcing in the first place, which was many years before you came here, but this is the repercussion of sometimes outsourcing. Fortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. Other question was 15N. Oh, I'm sorry, L. The nurse's bed, that might be, the nurse's bed for the high school?
That is part of the capital improvement project, and it's the beds that the nurses use in their.
In their office for the
Correct, where
students
the
that are sick,
student
we're
feels ill,
replacing
they could
what's
lay
in there.
down, lie down.
Yeah, they were pretty shot. Also, N, the lighting. I know when we did the walkthrough, they talked about the lighting that was done in the band in the core room, saying how it was all done. and now we're redoing this. Could you explain why we're redoing?
Sure. The initial, when you initially walk into the classroom and walk through it, these things were picked that it would happen, the lighting and all of that. Now that that room is completed, the teacher in that room has come back and said, the lighting, it's not enough. They thought it would be, it's not enough. So that's part of the change orders in here.
Okay, so we're better in the lighting, so that helps our students.
Correct. You do the best you can when you're walking into a room.
Well, yeah, it's tough to see with everything into
But,
electronic.
yeah,
I'm
the
sure
te-
we're gonna have a lot more of that as we finish items. We're gonna
Yes.
find more things that, okay, you know, subsides electricity in the floor and stuff like that, different things for a kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'd just like to make a quick comment relative to the change orders for the high school reservation. As was mentioned at our working session, and when you're doing renovation, there are things as you go through the renovation that are not evident to you until you actually open up items as part of the construction process. So in anticipation of that, we always set aside contingency funds, and we had set up $4 million set aside to do kinds of things that we would uncover that we would not be aware of prior to the letting of the contract. So there is no additional money is going to be required because it's as part of our contingency funds. And we've spent very little of the contingency funds. So to date, we've been very frugal in that aspect, and we're well ahead of where we would have expected to be at this point in the renovation. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, just one more, thank you. Under P there, when you talk about this survey for the Whitson's, which the food is very good, how are the I saw the parents are going to be questioned on that. How are the parents going to know about how the staff, how quick they are or stuff like that? Like,
This is the third year that we're doing this survey. The parents are our biggest responders.
I was just curious how they know whether the food's good or not. Okay. No.
They listen to their kids.
I know we've tasted it, but it's yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm good.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I oppose. I oppose L 2 through 4, M, N, and O.
Kathy, did you get that? Sorry, what was it? Okay, please.
L 2 through 4.
Did you get the others, Kath? There was others.
M, N, and O.
Got it? Okay, and that motion carries or is approved. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm also requesting approval of items 16B through 16E.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walters, seconded by Mrs. Surface. Is there any discussion?
I have one on number 8, 16.8, the 12 study pods for middle school. I've seen those type of things before, and I worked ISS for a couple of years. And I'm not in favor of having boxes all the way around because it makes it very difficult for the teacher in the room to see what's going on behind those boards. We use basically little folders and stuff like that who wanted to keep them from looking around. I'd rather see that money go towards something else. So I'm just going to vote no for that 16.8.
I can tell you that these will go against the wall, the teachers behind them, and they're an arc, so that we can fully see what all the kids are doing.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have 16B. It's Steps for Literacy, the new bags, Pack and Read. It's at PVE. I'm supporting the resources for students, but if all the material's online, why are we buying replacement bags? What are they used for? Just because I'm not sure what they use it for. And where are the students assessing or replacing these now? It just doesn't add up. I don't know what they're doing because I don't know where they move to, or they come in, specialists come into the room. So what do they need these for now when everything's online?
Everything is not online. The students still have books. We have a book vending machine. We have the library. These are bags that we purchase every year for our students to keep the books safe.
Their workbooks. Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
no,
Oh, the reading
There was a
books.
picture attached. Did you see
Yeah,
the picture
I-
attached?
I did. I just remember what they used to use them for, but when everything is a little different now.
We purchase this every year for the students. The students still have actual, like, I see students with books down there. And these are something we purchase every year for the kids to use, to keep the books from not getting damaged.
Okay, then I had a question about 16B11, the 30 GE Force RTX Intel Core Ultra laptops. Is that coming out of tech? Is that what I understand? No.
Is that the refresh?
No.
No.
So 11 is the,
75,030 GE
come from Ready to
Force
Learn.
No, that is for the computer lab at the high school. We discussed it.
B11.
I think I'm talking about the same item that you are. We discussed this at the last work session, that I would be purchasing computers. Initially, I was purchasing them for PVI. But when we looked at the computers, I worked with the technology department and I worked with Dr. Ayer. We are taking the computers from the high school, which are 2 years old. We are giving those to the technology STEM class at PVI and purchasing new computers for the high school computer lab, which several different content areas use that lab.
Is this for the esports also? No.
No, we already
They have their
compu-
own set of computers.
Correct. They're very different types of computers and what you use them for.
Okay, and the esport computers, that was already for all the budgeted amounts for esports.
We already purchased.
We're not buying anything additional because that's what I remember being said.
At this time, we're not purchasing anything additional.
Okay, let me see. 16 run. So I came in late to the back. So the 16E outdoor furnitures, I'm not thrilled to vote for that.
Okay.
I understand it's something that you're going to have, was budgeted, but it's 8 tables with 1 ADA, and it's not fully priced, it's not finalized, and it's guaranteed to go higher? Because
This
it's
is-
$12,099.50.
Correct. This was part of the building project. I worked with Mrs. Smale, and because I have grant dollars that I can use, I took it out of the project to save the money for the district, and I'm using grant money to pay for the students. I think it's a great opportunity for our students to have a special area at the high school.
I was just concerned because of the scores, we could put those dollars to better use.
We do put our, we do.
I mean, for this item, I know, because there's a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yeah.
Because what was concerning is it's a budget estimate, and it may change, and the final pricing is going to be confirmed later. At best, this will be used 4 months a year, these tables, and it's 16 weeks old, and it's only in good weather. So we're spending $12,000 for seasonal use, weather-dependent use, and limited access for small portion students. That's $750 a week of use for just about 150 students, because there's 241 seniors, is that right?
But I can tell you, I was outside today at the middle school. They have the same thing, and the students out there were having,
Well,
it's really
yeah,
nice
it
to
would be
see.
that type of weather to use it, but
Yeah.
to spend that kind of
Sure,
money
but
for that.
Clubs and
So-
activities can use it as well.
So we're going to spend thousands of dollars for fair weather seating while we continue to talk about improving academic outcomes. So I just don't think it's acceptable, because now we're going to improve indoor furniture, outdoor furniture, and still see estimates that increase after approval. Meanwhile, this same, I want to know is, where is the same urgency and precision when it comes to K-12 academic performance, student outcomes, and measurable improvements in achievement? We're applying the same level of focus and energy, I hope. I don't know, because right now it feels like furniture is a priority and not the students. So let me be clear, because right now the priority looks like furniture. This is not responsible, it's not transparent, and it is not aligned with our community's needs. So I'm a no on this.
But this is furniture coming from a grant that has to be used.
Yep, I understand, but doesn't mean we have to spend everything.
So do you have a?
We
do you
lose
have a-
it.
Hold on, I'm up. Do you have an alternative of what that money should be used to be spent on specifically, instead of
Chromebooks.
$13,000 for outdoor tables when other school district is letting their students and allowing their students that opportunity?
Right.
I'm not gonna hold our students back in that way.
Chromebooks,
What's that?
Chromebooks,
Chromebooks, what does that mean? Oh,
Chromebooks.
Chromebooks, sorry. Yeah, that's a whole separate thing.
I'd just
You
like
asked
to
me,
raise-
I said, what could you go for? That's what I would do.
I mean, we have used the Ready to Learn money to purchase HMH, which is a resource for K to Keystone for our, it's a reading resource, K to Keystone for our students, which was, I can't even remember how many, 800,000? I don't
Close to
remember.
$800,000. And we could get approximately 3.5 million in Ready to Learn every year.
Right.
We spent a large deal on professional development for our teachers, other resources. I've sat down with Mrs. Hobley and Mrs. Dooner, and we've walked through those resources. So it is a very high priority for us. So we also, materials are important, but so is the environment that students come to school in. And providing the right learning environment is just as important. So I do feel that we prioritize all of these things. We do spend the money on that. And I feel good about this purchase and doing this for our students.
Okay, well, I just would be a no, because
Anyone
I
else?
guess we differ.
I'm sorry.
I was going to end on a positive note from this little part of this, is 16B under contracts. Number 2, the Mobile Ag Science Lab. I think that's really awesome, and I hope I get an invite to go see that. I think that's really a good idea. Thank you. And then the other one I'm going to talk about is the Johnson Controls. I'm sorry if people can't hear me. I apologize. The Johnson Controls and the prop alarms and the settlement was used. Thank you for doing that, because we had talked about that, about the workshop, about the safety of the buildings that are being used by our feeder program. So I just want to end it on a positive note for those two things, please. If everyone's done, sorry.
So, sorry, I just one comment. I'm very positive about these things, and I'm not taking it personal. But on a positive note, I am looking out for the community, as we all pledge to do as directors. So on a positive note, I think we should be spending our taxpayer money more wisely.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
So, yeah, yes, thank you.
Okay. That concludes those. Mr. Fitzgerald, anything under new business?
No new business this evening.
Okay. Pleasant Valley citizens, is there anyone that would like to address the board? If so, please come to the podium, state your name, township you reside in. Of course, there's a 3-minute limit.
Hi, Mrs. Kresge. How are you?
Hi. Good, how are you?
Leah Collins, Chestnut Hill. I'm not here to actually harp on the superintendent. As a parent who has relied on Dr. Conrad several times because of bus 16, thank you. I am here to harp on 227 and the lack of justice that's going to come of this. I am not in favor of this. I have spoken out about this for quite some time. As someone who does not allow any school to search my child without me on the phone or me present, I think that this is a terrible disservice to our kids, and it strips their rights away, because I have even caught our middle school pre-searching my child before then they wand him. That's not what I called for. That is not what I want. I want to be on the phone. I want to represent my children, because frankly, they are under 18 and they cannot consent to a search. That book bag is his, it's mine. The lockers are yours. So what I'm telling you now is, by putting 227 in, you are opening yourself up to a lot of paperwork at this point, because paperwork hasn't existed before. And the lack of communication between the building administrators and parents when it comes to these searches is quite astounding. And to find out, not just from me, but from several other parents, that their kids are getting searched before they're even notified that this is happening, is completely wrong. Because if you're gonna go by any kind of biometrics on a kid, the minute you pull them down to the office, their heart rate changes, their blood pressure changes, they get red, they get embarrassed because they've just left their class because, ooh, down to the principal's office. So I'm advising you guys to look into this a little bit deeper, because you can't strip away rights from a child, especially if you're not even going to acknowledge that a parent has a right to be there for their minor child. Even though you guys, thank you for the education earlier when I first came into this district, how you guys become the technical parent. The minute my child steps into this district, onto this ground, you guys become the parents and get to make decisions. But you don't get to make decisions for minor children when you can call the parents and have them make the decisions, whether or not their child gets searched with or without you. So please be mindful of this, and that it is going on in the buildings, and it's not okay. It's not okay with a lot of parents. Dr. Conrad, I think you're doing a great job, and honestly, I don't think the scores are your fault at all. I do think that curriculum really, really sucks here, and I know a lot of teachers in that middle school hate HMH a lot, especially the students, because the wording on that test, or any of the tests that they take, they're terrible, and it's confusing my honors student to the worst factor. So look at that, I still have 2 seconds. Thanks, guys.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, Pleasant Valley School, oops, you coming to the podium there, sir? Okay.
Mike Geller, Ross Township. Just want to bring up some more data here that was presented here tonight and some of the attachments. If you looked at the IU20 financials there coming into the budget, their health benefits have an increase of 12.97%. MCTI has an increase in health benefits of 10%. We as a district here have an increase moving forward at 13.8%. Across the consortium, numbers have gone as high as 44%. I brought this up a couple months ago. I just want this to be on the record again that we are identifying these numbers. When we talk about prices going up and the impact on our community members, financial hardships, if you do digging on those percentages, those increases are due to weight reduction, which why I have to pay for that as a taxpayer is beyond me. And I shouldn't be, but I am. So when we want to talk about wasted money, let's look what's going on in those areas. Now, I do know that Highmark and Capital and the other large medical providers here in our consortium have put safeguards in place to keep this from happening again. Doesn't change the fact that we're on the hook for this right now. So just want to put those numbers out there. People are complaining about things. These are some of the things your monies are going towards. So additionally, I just want to bring up, I keep talking about the consortium. Somebody had mentioned I should mention what those schools entail. The 13 districts for IU20 encompass East Stroudsburg, Nazareth, Penargil, Bangor, Delaware Valley, Pleasant Valley, Wilson, Northampton, Bethlehem, Easton, Pocono Mountain, Stroudsburg, Saucon Valley, as well as 3 CTCs, which include MCTI, CIT, and Babbitts. So again, if you're going to be going out on Facebook and doing all your Facebook research, that's the districts we need to be looking at when you want to start talking apples to apples. In addition to that there's also been talk about, well, we're comparing Dr. Conrad to all these other districts that are bigger. I just want to point out within the consortium, Del Val has an enrollment at 4198. That superintendent has been there for 3 years. Stroudsburg, these are the 3 that were identical right now. Stroudsburg has an enrollment of 4,400. That superintendent has been there 10 years. We sit at 4030 with Dr. Conrad being here 9 years. So again, not to beat a dead horse here, but folks, what you voted on tonight, you're not off on. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, hello again. I also agree as a parent for policy 227. I am not in agreement with anybody looking through my daughter's things or looking at her person in case you guys have any suspicion of any type of paraphernalia or substance, whatever. I don't even care what it is. As a parent, absolutely not. I'm hands off. Hands off, because I don't think you guys would appreciate if students felt a little weary about a teacher or a faculty member and they felt a little, questionable, and they came to you and said, hey, can we frisk you and see what's on your person? I agree. I don't feel that our children should be subjected to this policy whatsoever. They are minors. They do not have the capability of making decisions for themselves. That's why they have parents. If you feel the need at any point that any of my kids personally would need to be looked at, I prefer to be called and be present, and I'll look at my kids and see what's going on. This isn't right, and we shouldn't even have this on the agenda at all. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it. My kids are minors. They can't advocate for themselves. That's why they have parents. And I don't think you guys would like it if another district was talking about your child or your grandchild, great-grandchild, whatever, and the potential of being looked at and checked out. When I can tell you, I know for a fact, our kids can't even walk around with backpacks or any type of bags on their person throughout the school day. They have to keep everything locked up, including their cell phones. So why this is even an issue, I have no idea. But I do not agree with it and do not approve of it. Because if this is the route we're gonna take, then as a parent, I should be allowed to come to the school and just start analyzing the people that are around my children. It's fair. So I don't agree with that. The other thing I started really taking note and analyzing was your budgeting. I know you had mentioned a lot about the furniture budget and how a lot of it's 30 years old. I do agree, fine, if you guys want to replace all of that, I don't care. I understand it's going to be at our expense. However, if there's something that you guys have had for 4, 5, 6 years, why are we replacing that and spending our money on something that's just a few years old, that's not even a decade? I've got furniture in my house that's well over a decade, and it's fine. I agree with Hopely that maybe we ought to look at the academics of our students and see where our money can be better spent. Again, I'm new to this district and I get it, and it is a better district from other districts that I've come from, but I just think that we have better use of our money and how it can be spent for these kids. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else approach. Pleasant Valley School Directors, does anyone have anything?
I have one thing, I'll pass out here. I got a call today about an opportunity for us to participate in the Mobile Traveling Museum. There is an opening between the 22nd and 24th of the month. I went out to the website and I put together some information, which I've passed to Dr. Howard, and I also gave a copy to Dr. Conrad. I know he hasn't had the opportunity, but if we decide that we would like to participate, we probably would have to make a decision fairly soon. What they would do is they would bring this tractor trailer and set it up, much like the Vietnam Veterans Traveling Monument. They would say, but this deals with a broad spectrum of historical information about the United States. And I invite you to take a look at it. If the administration thinks it's worthwhile, we probably should make a call. Locally in the community, there has been already a presentation at Slippery Rock. There will be in early April, one down in Hanover, Lancaster County, and then in the latter part of April, after this 22 to 24th, they will be down at Nather's Fire Company. So think it over. If the administration thinks it's worthwhile, make a call. Thank you.
I just wanted, because I've talked to Mr. Berger about this, I was going to get on this first thing in the morning because there's only one spot left. So if it's okay with the, nope.
We'll review that. Okay. And just as a sidelight, the way they set it up, and they specifically said they wanted a school district. Why they picked me to call, I guess maybe because I'm on the county historical 250th. Anyway, I got the phone call, but they during the school day, they would do the presentations for students on the schedule that would be set up by the administration. After school is over, they will then make it available for members of the community. So there's a broad spectrum of possibility if we decide to take advantage. Thank you.
Anyone else?
If the parent who came up and talking about the remote days, I would love to stick around and talk to you about that right after, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
One more.
Oh, go ahead.
Congratulations, Dr. Conrad. I know, forms that you would have been back here for another 5 years. Look forward to working with you. I also like people to understand, if you look around here and what just happened tonight, all of the conversations that happened between the board members and our administration on how we were respectful to each other and we took each other's opinion, and that's the way it is. We work that way and we accept things as it comes as a whole. And Dr. Conrad is with us for the next 5 years, and we plan on working with him and hopefully to be more successful, especially in our scores. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just have a couple things.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stay, Mr. Clark, I'm gonna stay. Go ahead.
No.
Okay, Janet Dooner, I wanted to say thank you for the people that did come out to speak. That's the first thing that I'm going to say. And I think I had to come back to policy 227 at this time. And I would like to talk about it, Dr. Conrad and the board. And there's parts to that policy. I did read the policies of the other school districts in Monroe County. And there are just parts to that policy that I would like to see improvement on. I have some ideas, and I would like to talk again with Mr. Fitzgerald and with Dr. Conrad on that policy. But I do appreciate that any parents have spoken up, because it's something, Dr. Conrad stayed with us last at the workshop, and I did some more research since then. And the one thing that I'm going to say is I did see a story, we make fun of Facebook, but I did see a story of a student whose backpack, somebody put something in it. And then that student was in trouble and had to go out and get the test to prove herself innocent. So it goes both ways with this, but I just would like to have the conversation more again about that policy in the future. But thank you. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Okay, just a couple. So we're here representing our community, and we don't want to make rush decisions, and we don't want to overlook commitments and not approve spending without transparency. The taxpayers are making difficult choices every day, and we owe them careful, responsible stewardship. And until that standard is met, I disapproved of and voted no on the ones I thought that needed to be done, and nothing personal about it. I just am very concerned, as we all are, about our taxpayers. But when we have these other bills and invoices, and, some of them may not have been able to be on the items, 16 especially, and that's good that was here so we could see transparency. I would like to see it still continue, even in the working session, because it is important that we get to voice our opinion for our constituents. And I appreciate that, and I understand the conversation. Okay, so I hope that continues just because of transparency, and we are able to have this discussion. And congratulations again, Dr. Conrad, for being our superintendent for 5 more years. And there's another positive note here. Congratulations on achieving a perfect food inspection report. That reflects the strong execution and commitment to the student safety and well-being. So well done on our food services, because they had a perfect inspection. And that's it.
Anyone else? Again, Dr. Conrad, congratulations. I look forward to working with you. All right, superintendent's remarks.
Sure. Just a few remarks this evening. Let's start on the high note, focusing on students. So congratulations to Natalie Hayes, Chelsea Henry, and Renee Kresge on being awarded the Singer Scholarship for this year. Just for context, each of those students is receiving a $30,000 scholarship for college opportunities. I personally want to thank the Singer C&E family, as well as Dr. Avery. We've forged a very positive relationship over the past few years, and I'm very grateful for the Singer family to continue to work with Pleasant Valley to offer these great opportunities for our students. In addition, let's see, obviously, very grateful to work with incredible board. We've actually had some board members change over the past few years, but I would say that the things that I've been a part of and the decisions that this board has made has really helped to shape our future, and we're definitely heading in the right direction. So I look forward to continuing to work with our board. We have incredible staff, we have incredible parents, and a great community. So we need to collectively work together. And again, it was, I was taking a step back. It was nice to know that through our dialogue, we don't always have to agree, and that's okay. But the thing is that we are working together, and I think that every time we come to the table, even when we don't always agree on things, we're still moving in the right direction. So it's nice that we're working together, and like I said, we have incredibly talented staff. Look at, my executive cabinet and the great work that we're seeing from Dr. Howard in curriculum, the great things financially that we're seeing from our business manager. And again, we're talking, consistency for both of them year over year. Lori Fulmer's not here tonight, unfortunately. She's at a conference to get better at what she does, which is continuing to forge forward with human resources, and just been an incredible resource for all of our staff. So we're seeing really great things happening here, but you know what? We need to continue collectively focusing on our kids, because I think sometimes we get in the weeds with the banter and the discussions and the negativity. I just wish we could push that energy back to our kids and think about how can we enhance our community, enhance our opportunities, and enhance access and opportunities for all of our students. So let's keep that front and center as well. That's why we're here. But thank you. I look forward to continuing to see great things happen in Pleasant Valley. Very grateful for this board and for the great staff I get to work with and the great community that I get to be part of. So thank you.